Good afternoon and welcome back to today's press conference featuring the UConn Huskies. We're joined on the dais with Paige Bueckers. We will begin with our questions at this time. We'll start right here in the front, to our right.
Eden Lassie, Hoops HQ. Paige, you've talked so much about how you're just taking everything one day at a time and staying in the moment. But, you know, when there's so much hype happening around you and we're all asking you about, like this is your last chance in your career and all this stuff, like how is that actually possible? How do you do that?
Well, honestly, ever since postseason started, it's always been a game of this could be the last game of my career. So you just knowing that and knowing taking one game at a time, taking 140 minutes at a time, and staying present, I think that's just the most important thing for our team, for us as individuals. It's hard not to worry about the future, hard not to think about the past, but the more you do that, the harder things are for you. So as much as you can, just trying to stay disciplined and being in the present.
We'll take our next question right here.
Hi, Paige. Mike Anthony from Hurston, Connecticut. What would you say makes Gino's personality really unique? Why have you been able to have such a great connection with him, and just what does that relationship mean to you personally?
Yeah, I mean, he's very quick-witted. He has a great sense of humor. He has a good sense and a feel of knowing when to push and when to give, and he does a great job of getting on his players' nerves, but also knowing when to be there to support them and be there to instill a little bit of confidence in them. And he's just super easy to talk to. We've had the pleasure of just having a great relationship and talking about anything, basketball, non-basketball, going over to his house for dinners, and just being around him constantly, and just going up to his office to chat. And it's meant everything to have that relationship with him. And I'll never take it for granted, and just being able to be that connected with somebody, trust somebody that much, and vice versa. So very grateful for that.
Take our next question from Nancy, and then we'll come back over to you.
Nancy Armour, USA Today Sports. Paige, how would you like to be remembered for your career at UConn?
As a great teammate, a great leader, I think those are the two most important things to me. Just being somebody that people love to play with, make their teammates better, wears a UConn jersey with pride. Every single time I stepped out on the floor, I gave it my all and played with an energy, effort, a passion, and joy that was contagious, not just amongst my teammates, but in the entire UConn community. Giving back to the community was also a huge thing for me, just giving to people who have given so much to me, and just being an inspiration as much as I've had adversity throughout my career. A person who was resilient and just bounced back from everything that life threw its way, and a winner and a competitor, and just a person who played with all our heart.
We're going to stay to our right.
Maggie Benoni, CT Insider. You and AC have shared some of your guys' highest highs and lowest lows together, but they're on the court or off. What does it mean to have her friendship during this time and to be back on this national championship game with her?
Yeah, just to have those bonded and shared experiences with each other, trauma, good stuff, bad stuff, celebrations, sad days. It just bonds you immensely, and it just makes you so connected that anything you go through in life, as long as you got the people around you, you feel like you can get through it. So to be here at this stage, to both be doing what we love after all we've both been through, and I'm sure if you'd ask her, she wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it just because of how it shaped us and how it shaped our mentalities, how it shaped our faith and belief in everything that happens for a reason. So to be here at this stage is really rewarding.
We're going to take our next. We'll go Maddie, Doug, Gigi.
Hi, Paige. Maddie Kenny with the New York Post. For the South Carolina seniors, this is their chance to win their third title in 4 years, which is, I mean, you know how hard it is to even get to this point. What does that just say about the leadership that they have on that side, and how much respect do you have for, what they're trying to do? Obviously, I know you're competitors, but.
Yeah, no, a lot of respect for them, the program, Coach Don. Sustained excellence is extremely hard, especially with the parity in women's college basketball today. So for them to continue to get back to this level, we know as players it's extremely hard to get here, and you never want to take it for granted, but it just speaks to the the discipline and the attention to detail and the demanded excellence that Coach Dawn has for her players, and we have great respect for her and the entire program. So just to sustain that excellence is extremely hard to do.
Stand to our right.
Hey, Paige. Doug Feinberg, the AP. Two-parter. What do you take from the game you had against them 2 months ago? Is there anything you guys can use tomorrow? And from the title game a couple years ago, what memories do you have from that? Does that help add to, hey, we were in the spot before, we weren't what we have now, but we can take some things from that at all?
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to think whatever we did in the past, good or bad, will help us tomorrow. But obviously using the experience in what we learned from those experiences, I think, like what I've always talked about and we've always talked about as a team, is our defense. And we want to continue to do that, make them as uncomfortable as we can, limit their threes, limit what they do inside the paint, try to disrupt everything that they do offensively. And then just be aggressive on both sides of the ball. Look to get threes, but look to score in the paint, get paint touches, which leads to stuff on the outside. And just play with an energy and a passion and leave everything out on the floor.
Hi, Paige. It's Gigi with Overtime. And which current player on your team do you think will make a good coach?
Make a good coach. That's a good question. I'll probably say Caroline Ducharme.
Stay to our right.
Emily Adams, the Hartford Courant. To go back to that 2022 championship game, Paige, just kind of how do you remember that loss impacting you? Is that something that you're using at all coming into a rematch with this team now, kind of on the other side of the adversity that you've been through the last few years?
Yeah, I think everything in life has kind of taught me not to take things for granted. Being in the national championship game, it's extremely hard to get to and extremely rewarding to be a part of. And just how much we need to play 40 minutes and how connected we need to stay throughout the game. It's going to be a game of runs. It's extremely high stakes. There'll be nerves at the beginning, but once you settle in, just staying connected, staying composed, and doing what got us there, not trying to get too outside of ourselves and try to win the game in one possession, but play every possession by itself and take it possession by possession.
We're going to shift to our left with Michael.
Michael Vopel, ESPN.com. Paige, you know what it's like to be a freshman with high expectations, and you lived up to that as a freshman. Can you talk about what Sarah's done this year as a freshman and just how reliable she's been throughout the season?
Yeah, I mean, Sarah's amazing. She obviously, when you watch her, doesn't play like a freshman. She plays like an experienced vet. It's just her basketball instinct, her basketball IQ, her ability to be unaffected by anything that goes on in the game. And she's just always the same. She's very consistent. We know what we're going to get with Sarah, and she's had, I think, one of the best freshman seasons ever in terms of what we've asked her to do, what she's done, how she's lived up to that standard every single day. And she just contributes to winning in so many ways. I've said it before, but just her impact on the game is remarkable.
We're staying to our left. We have a question from a member of the Press Pass program.
Hi, Paige. This is Mia from Press Pass Tampa Bay, and I was wondering, how do you mentally prepare for high-pressure moments in a game?
Yeah, I think leaning on your preparation, doing what got us here. I know the coaching staff, our practices are extremely hard, the way we prepare in the weight room, the way we prepare by how we eat, how we sleep. You're just leaning on that, and I have a faith in God that I believe everything happens for a reason, and everything is in His hands already, so just leaning on that, leaning on His strength, leaning on His comfort, and leaning on the preparation.
We're moving back to our right. Gentleman with the glasses, if we could, yep.
Good afternoon, Paige. Joe Zone, Channel 3 in Hartford. Last few games, different players have stepped up at different times for periods of times. Are those planned changes, or is it just the flow of the game?
Definitely just the flow of the game. That's kind of the UConn basketball way, that on any given night, it's anybody's night. And so we feed off of that. We feed off of what the game is calling for, who's got the hot hand, and just feeding off each other and wanting to make plays for each other. And anybody on the floor at that time we think can be that person. So definitely what the game calls for.
Shifting to our left. You can raise your hand. We'll get the mic to you.
Paige Madison for ESPN Anscape. The last time you all saw South Carolina, you beat them by 29 points. How do you go into this game not feeling too comfortable?
Well, Well, obviously, we feel like they'll have a chip on their shoulder from the last time we played, but at this point of the season, nothing that we did prior matters, and you shouldn't need any extra motivation when you're playing the national championship game. So the record is 0-0. What we did in the past can't help or hurt us. We can obviously learn from it and use those experiences, but two teams trying to win a national championship, so you don't want to get complacent, and you want to go into the game confident, but definitely respecting the opponent and how great they are. So, yeah.
We'll go to the back with Ben.
In the back. Ben Pickman with The Athletic. Just going back to the 2022 title game, just what do you remember about how you were feeling in the lead up to it, the morning of? How'd you sleep? How were you feeling nerves-wise, your preparation? Is there anything you remember just about the lead up to that game?
I don't remember much, but I would definitely say a feeling of anxious, excited, a little bit of nervous. It was the first national championship we had played in at my time here, so definitely excited, definitely nervous, anxious, probably all those feelings.
We'll go right here to the front on our left.
Shantiana Keys, Rising Media Stars. I think it was the Elite Eight game at halftime. Gino basically said he has to beg you to shoot sometimes. And so can you kind of talk me through your mindset of, I guess, what has changed for you, or if you feel like anything has changed in terms of like hunting your shots and kind of what that mindset shift was? Like, what was it before and then what is it now?
I mean, I feel like he still has to beg me to shoot sometimes, but that's just the UConn way. It's the way I love to play. Being selfless, feeding my teammates, making sure everybody's getting involved. But at the same time, the game at the moment might call for something different, and it might call for me hunting my shots more, getting to my spot more, being more aggressive, looking to score. And you always realize when you look to score and aggressive to look to score, it opens up everything else for your teammates as well. So just finding the balance in that, and every game is different. So not going into a game predetermining what I'm going to do, but reading what the game calls for.
We're shifting back to our left-hand side. If you could raise your hand so Paige can see you.
Bob Joyce, UConn Sports Network. Paige, two people that you rely heavily on and admire, Sue and Maya, in the Hall of Fame now officially. Your thoughts?
Obviously well-deserved. Two of the greatest to ever play the game. Two people who I have a great relationship and great respect for. Growing up in Minnesota with the Minnesota Lynx dynasty, Maya Moore was my everything. That whole dynasty and the whole team was. And those were shoes, both of them, that I aspired to fill. And so to be able to be here at UConn, build that relationship with them, and to see their greatness firsthand and how much they've impacted that program, and you can see their imprint on it every day. And then they're the greatest pros, the WNBA, the Olympics. They just represented the women's game extremely well, so very much deserved.
We'll come to the front with Carl and then go to Joe.
Carl Adam at Hearst Media. Two-part question, Paige, if you don't mind. First, your reaction to winning the Nancy Lieberman Award for the second time. And then the second, what are you expecting tomorrow that AZ will be healthy for a national championship game this time?
Yeah, very blessed, very honored. I give all glory to God and my teammates and the coaching staff, everybody who's invested in me, the doctors, the training staff, practice players and managers, GAs, everybody. It takes a village, so it's really a team award in my eyes. I have great respect for Nancy Lieberman. She's a great mentor to me. She's a sister in Christ, and what her imprint on the game and how much she's done for the game, extremely grateful for that. The second part? Yeah, just excited to have her healthy, to have her being her best self, and to have her aggressive, to have her playing with joy and passion after all that she's been through 3 years ago, 2 years ago, last year. So extremely proud and extremely happy for her.
Stand to our right.
Joey Johnson, Tampa Bay Sports Commission. Paige, I know it's a tight schedule. You're in the gym, you're at the hotel, not a lot of free time, but have you been able to get the vibe of the place at all, being here in Tampa and what's going on in town, and anything you'll remember about being here, beyond these games?
Yeah, I remember being here. I think it was like my junior or senior year in high school. Being here at the Final Four, the environment was crazy. Just the turnout was crazy, and the games were really high level. So I remember watching it and being here for that. But even now, the turnout, the people you see walking the streets of Tampa, all here to support women's basketball. The turnout yesterday was amazing. It was an amazing atmosphere, a great environment for women's basketball. And obviously the weather is great. We're not used to that in stores, so it's been a good shift in that. So just all around great vibes here in Tampa.
I want to go to the center, Doug, and then Gigi.
Paige, it seems like another lifetime when you guys were having your first NCAA tournament experience together in the bubble. And there was one moment, I think, against Iowa when you hit a shot and slapped your coach on the rear side. Did you always know you'd have kind of a playful relationship with him like that?
Yeah, it was Anna Makarat 3, and he'd been giving Anna a hard time at practice leading up to that. And so just to let him know when he's wrong and he, just to give him some crap sometime is always a joy. And however that comes out at the time, you always enjoy just the back and forth to it because he gives us a lot of smoke. So it's nice to dish it back sometime.
Doug?
Hey, Paige, Doug again. The other side of that is he said the other night when asked the impact of winning another title would mean to him, he said, to me, nothing, but to get one for you would be huge. What would it mean for you guys to win a title for him in a sense that who knows how many he has left to win to get a chance to get him a 12th?
Yeah, I think he's one of the last of his peers who are still in the game, and we think he can still win at this level. He still thinks he can win at this level, even though the landscape has changed so much and it's an entirely different environment than when he first stepped in, and even 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago. So he's given us so much. He's given us the opportunity to play here, to compete for national titles, to be in the UConn program. So to give back to him means everything.
I'll go Gigi, then Nancy.
Paige, once you win the Natty, who's the first person you're calling?
I mean, we haven't won it yet. I'll let you know after if we get there.
Nancy?
Nancy Armour, USA Today Sports again. Paige, we often ask special players if they feel like they need to win a national championship to validate their legacy or their place in the game. Do you feel that, or do you feel that everything, all of the things that you've done are enough to cement who you are and what you've done?
I don't think that's up to me. I think that's up to the people who, I guess, get to decide if people's legacies are cemented or whatever, but I'm not worried about that at all. The thing I take great joy and great pride in is the relationships, the experiences, the journeys we've gone on throughout a team, just the bonds I've been able to create with my teammates, the memories, just the close-knit stuff that, I mean, you can't really experience without sport. Just how it's brought us all together and how much we've grown as individuals, grown as a team, all the stuff that we've been through and how much it's made us stronger. So really the journey is a reward for me, and I never take it for granted being able to play here and put on this uniform. And whatever talks of legacy and whatever that, I guess that's not up to me. All I can worry about and control is who I am every single day and who we are as a team. So that's all I'm worried about.
We're going to shift to our left, Misha.
Hey, Paige, right here in the front. Misha Jones with Rising Media Stars. This is obviously everything. Everybody's asking you about the game. Everybody's asking you about basketball. But I can't help but notice you're very eloquent. You very much know your basketball history. You care about the game itself. So outside of your WNBA aspirations, is there anything else you aspire to do in the basketball space?
Well, thank you. First, I love talking basketball. I love learning about basketball. I feel like my whole life has been about it, around it. So I would love to do anything that stays within the game. Just talking hoops, however that looks like. I think I'm too reactive to be like a color commentator. I have too many. But I don't know if I could keep it cordial. So I don't know about that, but maybe in a studio setting where I have time to process things, it would probably be a little bit better.
We're going to go to our left.
Yep, Dama Mori, Hartford Current. Paige, did you meet Sarah when she came to visit UConn as a recruit? And also, having been recruited by Gino, What does he do that's maybe above and beyond that allows him to land players like Sarah?
Yeah, I met Sarah. She went on an official visit, and we hosted her, and it was a great weekend. She was extremely shy, how she is in front of the media for the most part, and not very talkative. And then once you peel back that shell, she's a whole different person. But I think the difference with Coach in terms of like why we wanted to come here is obviously the history and the excellence that he's produced. But just his honesty, he doesn't sugarcoat things, and as soon as he starts recruiting you, he's going to start coaching you. And a lot of times it's the things you don't want to hear and the things people have never told you. So I think that's a separator for sure, is his honesty and his ability to be a non-sugarcoater.
Go to the back with Chantel.
Hey, Paige, Chantel Jennings with The Athletic. Just a quick one for you. You said you were here in 2019 for the Final Four. I don't think USCB was doing their mini camps yet. Was that like a family trip or a trip with friends, or?
I think it was I was here for USA Basketball 3-on-3, an event or something like that. But I was here also with like family and friends.
We're shifting to our left.
Hey, Paige, Maya with Rising Media Stars. We see, of course, you are a star on the court. I showed you a picture of yourself years and years ago when you first started playing. When we peel back the layers, who is Paige outside of basketball?
A lot of people would describe me as like childish, annoying, extra, all of those things, but extremely loving, caring, annoying. I just love to get on people's nerves and just bother them and be in that. But it's all out of love. And I just feel like I love having fun. So however that looks like, just being joyful, being in a state of gratitude always, just embracing everything that comes my way, and try to be a joy to be around.
Hi, Paige. Jalen, Rising Media Stars. You are extremely open about your faith and how you depend on God to get you through your career as an athlete, but just also your life. If you had to name the chapter that God is writing for you right now in your life, what would the name of that be?
Stand firm.
Take our next question from the front row.
Shantiana Keys, Rising Media Stars. How have you seen your leadership change from your freshman year to senior year? I mean, you were in a leading role your freshman year, obviously right out of the gate, but how do you feel like you've grown since then?
Yeah, I think being a lot comfortable using my voice, with experience and with age, you get more comfortable using your voice. So, and I think holding people accountable, I used to look at it as a bad thing, and like me getting on my teammates and demanding excellence out of them was a negative. And like me, it's not me picking on anybody. It's really, instead of calling people out, I was calling people up. And that holds yourself to a new level of accountability for yourself. And knowing you can't call your teammates out on something if it's something you're not doing yourself. So balancing that and then just leading by example, and how hard I work on and off the court, and how much I invest myself into the game, and how much it's my whole life and my whole being, and just giving everything I have to it. And then connecting with people off the court. I think people trust people way more when they actually have a genuine relationship with them, and trust is a huge key piece to basketball. And so connecting with all of my teammates, just going to their rooms, chatting about stuff, when somebody's going through something, just being there to support them. So all in all, being connected with my teammates and using my voice.
Take our next two from Michael and then go back to Kareem.
Paige, as you said earlier, when you're in a tournament, every game potentially could be your last game, but Sunday will be that. Do you compartmentalize that a little bit, the emotion of it, or do you feel like, hey, I'm ready for this last game and then the next chapter? Is it one or the other, or some mixture of both?
Yeah, I mean, I prayed about it, and we all hope to be playing on the last day, so that's all we could really ask for, and then just showing up and giving everything to that last day. And I'm probably going to be sad regardless of the outcome, just knowing that my college career is over, and this is my last time wearing the UConn uniform, so just enjoying that, embracing it, and making sure I have nothing left to give after that game.
Kareem.
Hey, Paige. Kareem Copeland, Washington Post.
AZ was just in the other room kind of talking about the other championship game where she was sick and said this time she'll actually be able to kind of help you. What's it been like, as close as you guys are, being able to kind of watch her journey and through the injuries and being sick that time, and now kind of getting this one more chance, especially with you and kind of coming off the way she played last night?
Yeah, AZ's done a remarkable job of overcoming trials in her life, and however that looks like, injury, illness, whatever it is, we know nothing beats AZ, and she has an incredible work ethic that we think anything life throws at her, she's going to overcome it, and she's going to work through it and work her butt off to get over it. So just to be a part of her journey and watch how hard she's worked and watch how hard she's worked to get through everything, and how much it's only made her a better person and only made her a better player, and how much it's changed her perspective on life and her faith. And just to see it is very rewarding, and you're extremely proud of her and extremely happy for her.
We're going to go to our right with Maddie.
Hey, Paige. You use the word annoying to describe both yourself and Sarah Strong, and I'm just curious, what are some similarities you see in her that you might have had as a freshman in the way that you went about your business, and what do you think is her long-term potential?
Yeah, very similar, and very super unserious off the court, and pretty much serious for the most part on the court, and just the joy and her competitive spirit. I think there's a lot of similarities, and the sky's the limit for her. I think the foundation she's laid as a freshman is unreal, and the fact that she's only going to get better is extremely scary. So I can't wait to watch her progression and the way she continues to work through her game to get better, because I feel like she's already great at everything. So the sky's the limit for her, and I'm excited.
We're going to go to our left.
Hi, Paige. Alex with Rising Media Stars. I feel like every time I open my phone, I'm seeing you on a new campaign, and I even got a PR box with you on it with CeraVe. So can you just talk a little bit about the impact that NIL has had on your life and what you think it's doing for the landscape of college sports?
Yeah, it's an extremely big blessing to be able to capitalize off that now in college and build your wealth, build your portfolio, build your resume, build your relationships and partnerships, who you work with. And a huge part of it for me, and I know for the whole entire team, is giving back. So that's a huge part of it, making sure every person you partner with has the same values, they align, and you have the same goals at the forefront. But just in the visibility, you see a lot of women's college sports stars, women's sports stars in general, on TV, in commercials, doing campaigns, things like that. So for the visibility, it's really cool and really amazing to see, and we've came a long way, and I only think the future is even brighter.
We're going to shift to our right. We'll go Alexa, and then we'll take our last question from the back.
Alexa Philpott, ESPN. I know we've been asking you about the last few days you'll be coach by coach. So I'm just curious, what do you think you're going to miss most about him? Maybe one thing sarcastic or one thing kind of more sentimental?
Yeah. Obviously his sarcasm and his quick-witted humor and his ability to let you know that he doesn't like you, and he hates coaching you, and you're the worst thing that ever happened. But then on the other side of it, how much he has your back and how much he's a little bit delusional and an exaggeration pro. So all these things that he's saying, he doesn't really mean it. But his belief and his confidence and his trust in me and how much he holds me accountable for all the things that you didn't even know was important. I think nobody has a better feel on that, and nobody has better knowledge and experience in that. And him winning 11 national titles wasn't on accident. So this guy's a winner, and everything he says is pretty much gold. So just his experience, his wisdom, and his sarcasm, I guess.
We'll take our final question from the back.
Hey, Paige, Sirit Sohi from The Ringer. Gino at different points has called you annoying, DT annoying, Sarah Strong annoying, and I'm curious if you think perhaps he's annoying and maybe he's attracting people who are similar to him.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's like all his favorite players he calls annoying. But he's definitely annoying himself, so I'm sure he recruits like-minded people like him. So I guess it's a trend that he set.
Paige, I want to thank you for your time today, and best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
A reminder that all of our press conferences this week are available